Hello and good evening and welcome to BNR. It's Gene as your host today. The moment you guys have all been waiting for. It's been a long time, but it's finally here. I'm joined today by Asim, the tactician, and also Avi, the man who gave us the master exclusive last November. Guys, how are you getting on? Avi?
He has to go a year back. He has to go a year back. But you know what? Even though that was scripted, even though that was all scripted on a telegram next to your laptop,
Oh,
that was,
come on, Avi, man.
that was a good effort. No, that was a very good effort. I'm proud of you, Gene. I'm proud
Yeah.
of you I'm proud of you like a father would be of his son. So well done, Gene. Well done. You passed the first test. You passed the litmus test.
Since we're gonna do some ratings today, shall we do his ratings for his intro?
That was good. That was good. That was 8 out for Gene. That's 8 out of 10.
Go on,
no
man.
bad.
Respect. Avi, rate your rating now.
Huh?
Yo, what's your rating?
I'll give that a 2.
Oh, Avi, that is bad news.
Yeah, that's stupid.
No,
That's stupid.
I think that was good. I think that was a solid 7.5.
All right, that's all right. Then.
That was a good effort. That was a good effort.
But how are you guys?
And ladies and gentlemen, I know there's about 900 of you lot in the chat today, but that will be the first and last time Gene hosts. So just an FYI.
You know what I mean? That's the
But
problem.
anyway, listen, boys.
My even if I gave you 2 Gene, it would have been from the heart, sincere. This bloody so and so gives you an 8, and then after 30 seconds he takes the piss. That's the difference.
No.
In November.
My 2 is genuine.
But hold on. Listen, it's beautiful. Hold on 1 minute.
It's his month. Let him have it, man.
There's a few comments already coming in. Asim's in his Italian shirt. I don't know why. He's got no Italian links. Gene's wearing, I think, the Pakistani cricket top. I think Pakistan.
BNR, man.
The BNR top. I was gonna have the India flag behind me because I got plenty of space for it. But then I thought, you know what? Let's not be that harsh on the boys because the boys have been batting for Pakistan. They've had problems with the PCB. You know, there's rumors of Javed Miandad coming back into power. But anyway, boys, Humara India, we're in the final. Humara Bharat, Mera Desh, we're in the World Cup final. Could potentially win it for the 3rd time, Asim. So, will you be supporting the Australians, Asim, or will you be supporting your neighbors, or will you be supporting your neighbors, India?
Again, Avi. I'm not going to reply to any cricket banter because deep down I know you support Australia as well.
No, I don't. No, I'm an Indian fan. I'm an Indian fan. Indian by nature, Indian by home. India, Humara Deshe, Bharat all the way on Sunday. Let's go India.
India, Humara bhi hai.
Humara bhi India.
Anyway, guys, can we get into it, man? Enough of your banter, man.
We can.
Guys, I think, obviously, Asim, in terms of the show, look, guys, what we were trying to do is, obviously, with it being an international break, we thought, we'd do a show where we can obviously speak about the season so far, how we've got on, obviously, with it, what 25% of the season that's gone by now. That's 12 games in. And, just to give a bit of a review on some sort of some players as well. But first and foremost, Avi, did you catch any of the boys in action in terms of the internationals?
I've caught, obviously, last night it was all popping off, wasn't it? Darwin Nunez gets a second goal in Uruguay's win against your boys, Argentina. Gene, McAllister came off halftime. I thought he had a poor game. And we'll dwell on that a little bit later on the show. We'll talk about McAllister. But Darwin looks sharp. It looks as if he's not only going off on international duty and learning from the tutelage of Marcelo Bielsa, but he's obviously learned a lot this season with Liverpool and last season over the summer pre-season with Klopp. But he looks in a good place, and the way he got away, pace. It was a finish.
That feint before you hit it, I like that.
Yeah, the finish. I mean, it went through his Martinez's legs. I thought he could have been cleaner with that finish, but hey, he gets the goal. That will do the world of good. And then Luis Diaz, what an emotional game that was for him in Colombia against Brazil. He gets the equalizer, and then he gets the winner. And we saw the scenes late last night for me, but early morning for you boys, of Senor Diaz in tears of joy and passion. It was great. And Ali, said a few words that, listen, you deserve it, Lucho. For all the translators on Twitter that translated later in English. So it was it's been a good few days. Salah gets 4 against Djibouti. for their World Cup qualifiers. So Salah gets 4, and I think he played the full 90 minutes. Again, I don't understand sometimes of these international managers who I know we saw it with Van Gaal, with Van Dijk previous years, playing him against Gibraltar and in dead rubber games, but it is what it is. And then today I saw Trent play a masterclass pass to Rashford, who absolutely balls it up and then puts him on the ground as well when they collide. So all as long as they all come back fit, Gene, by Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, whenever it is they come back next week, all will be good. I think Uruguay have got Bolivia. I think Asim mentioned that as well last weekend. The altitude is a big issue, but hopefully we'll be okay for the game.
I think they should get into Liverpool around about Thursday evening, maybe.
Yeah, but we saw it with McAllister against Wolves. Asim, I think they got back on the Friday morning. Maybe it was an early morning flight, and he just didn't look right, and he was brought off half time. And he had a shocker of a game. So that altitude up in Bolivia, it is an issue, breathing and all that. And they have to wear those oxygen masks. So let's see how we are next week. Next Thursday, Friday, we'll be telling of who Klopp goes with against City.
Did you get anything? Did you get to watch anything, Asim?
Just Twitter clips. I actually couldn't really get much sleep last night when I come back from badminton, and I got a bit. There was an actually live stream on Twitter, believe it or not, of Uruguay and Argentina, and I thought Uruguay looked a really good outfit. It was a feisty game. I caught bits of it. It was a feisty game. There was a few moments of, 6 and what do you call it? Handbags. That's the word I was looking for. But I thought the goal. I just fell asleep before the goal. Woke up and Twitter was Darwin Nunez was trending. That's always a good sign. Actually, it could be a few memes as well. So you never know. You never know with Darwin. But these days, Darwin making the headlines in the right way, and it was I called it a proper Liverpool goal. And I just did a bit of a funny commentary when I retweeted the video. And I thought, maybe you never know. We could see a similar goal come Saturday when we catch City on the break once or twice. Hopefully anyway. But yeah, I caught bits on Twitter. Obviously, Muhammad was being Muhammad. Diaz, I think that embrace with Alisson got everyone there. It was more than football, that wasn't. I think Alisson was the perfect person to embrace him. And I'm glad Edison was bullshitting that he's injured. He's not injured. We know they're nowhere near injured. But I think that was a really good moment between the two teammates where look how, your fortunes change, don't they? On and off the pitch. And a week's a long time in football or, in any other environment. And if anyone deserved a bit of luck and a bit of success for his family, for his country, and that was Lucho. And that was really, really nice to see.
Yeah, look, I watched a bit. I didn't really watch it, but so obviously Jota got an assist as well for Ronaldo's goal, and he got an assist as well. So it's been a good, let's say, a first game in terms of the international window for the Liverpool guys up front. But look, moving on to the obviously what we guys think of the season so far. Look, guys, 12 games in, and I wanted to obviously get you both of your thoughts on what you think in terms of just some brief thoughts first in terms of how you think the season's gone so far. In terms of where we are in terms of the league, we're sat second, point behind City, only conceded 10 goals. We're joint in terms of goals conceded with Arsenal. So it seems like a good sort of start to the season from a Liverpool perspective. But yeah, your thoughts, guys. I'll come to Asim first. I can't hear you, Asim.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I mean, you're shit at doing that. If you actually stay short,
I say the same thing because I said, yeah, I agree. I say the same thing
because it's hardly ever you agree with me. When you actually agree with me, I have to look up. I think what's happening here. So, Gene, 12 games in, if you actually told me before the season started that Liverpool are going to be a point behind City, a point off the top of the table, I would have snapped your hand off. Especially the sort of transition, that we were actually probably, speculating. Many people were speculating. If we were probably fourth or even fifth, let's be honest, we probably try to make something out of it in terms of let's consolidate that number 4th position after the international break. So we cannot be sort of negative in any way in terms of our position. And like I said, if anyone offered you that position 12 games ago before a ball was kicked, then every single Liverpool fan would have taken this position. And the best thing about this integration and transition is it's happened quickly because the players like Szoboszlai and McAllister and Gravenberch have come and really embraced the team, embraced the club, embraced the culture. because we do our homework and groundwork. There's a word that we've been using for the last 6 months, and they've really embraced the club, and the fans have really embraced them. You can have any type of player, a brilliant bowler, but if they don't put a shift in, then you don't really get that connection. Look at the connection that Darwin Nunez has with the Liverpool fans. It's because, when the chips were down, when he was missing sitters, he wore his heart on his sleeve. And I think even Endo you can include. He might not have the ability that these guys have, but in terms of work rate and work ethic, I think you can actually see that Liverpool are growing into something, and it's coming from the manager and the coaching staff, because we have a sort of renowned sort of a freshness to the coaching and the manager as well, where he's actually enjoying this Klopp 2.0, this refresh, and he's enjoying coaching these young boys because they're willing to learn. And the way that all things considered, I think the way we've started, it's been an absolute pleasure. And the good thing about it is there's some winners in this squad, Gene. And if you combine that with the freshness, with the youth that we bought and the new signings that we bought, you never know. And I'm always going to stick to my point that we're going to do a mad one this season.
No, coming to Avi, Asim mentions, the backroom staff and Klopp. Klopp must be over the moon in terms of where we are. Let's say where we are in terms of where we are this season in regards to our start.
Yeah, and I tweeted it as well. I said by game 16 we'd either be top or second. I just saw the run I saw the sort of the run, but from game 6 to 16 between. I saw the run for Spurs, Arsenal, City, Liverpool. I didn't really think United or Chelsea were gonna pull up any trumps. So I was looking at those run-ups and I thought, you know what? I think we'll get second or first here, but a lot will linger on that game next Saturday. So we've seen this Liverpool team. I think we'll be delighted. I think Klopp, I think Linders, all the coaching back staff, I think all the players will be calmly excited and not calmly, but I think they'll be very happy the situation that we're in, Gene. I don't think we've gone
teams that we've played as well, because we've had some difficult.
We've been to some doggy stadiums already away from home, and we've come through it. The Luton away game, that could be your one sort of. Every team has that giant killing sort of result, where the lower team gets the better of you. That once in the season, I think that could be our game against Luton away. We should have lost that game if we're really honest, but we got lucky with that goal at the end. We've gone to Chelsea away, got a draw. We've gone to Newcastle away and won. We've gone to Tottenham away, the game that we should have won, but we can hold our heads up high, in that game, considering how we performed with 9 men. I think we've had a very good season, a very good start to the season. Yeah, Brighton away as well. Again, we should have won. Mistake at the end, and it becomes 2-2, but a game that we should have comfortably won, because I thought they didn't, De Zerbi didn't really put his tactics in place. They weren't overrunning us, and he changed it around throughout the game, throughout the 90 minutes. And they done well towards the end, but the game that we should have won. But we've had a good start. And I still don't think we've got into third or fourth gear, Gene. I think with McAllister, there's a lot more to come in his favored position. Hopefully, he gets that after January. If we're waiting on Bajicic, if we're not going in for a recognized 6, I think there's a lot more to come from Szoboszlai. And I think we're feeling the sort of the tired Szoboszlai in the last few weeks. He's given it his all already in the first sort of 12 games. There's a lot more to come. He'll have to channel his sort of stamina, his conditioning, and that's to do with the fitness gurus at Liverpool, who will get him, over a course of the season, all conditioned properly. But a lot more to come from him. Curtis Jones has been in and out, but when he's been in, he's been very good. Gravenberch, a lot more to come after January, believe you me on him. Harvey Elliott, the cameos from him. So it's boding well in that midfield area, and we're second. And a lot will linger on that game. I think for the first time, I think Asim's tweeted it, and I think he said it when I missed out last Sunday. We've got to be a little bit more daring in that game against Man City. We can't go with that cautious approach or see how we play in different phases. The first 25, the 25 to halftime, then the next 25, then the last 25 between that 65 to 90 period. We've actually got to go and have a go at Etihad, because it's game 13. Nothing is won or lost. You can put a marker down. If City beat us, they put their marker down. Listen, these our league to lose. We're still the top dogs here. But we've seen they can be got at. Chelsea gave it a good go. a little bit fortunate towards the end, but they gave it a good go against City. And we know if you be a little bit daring, City can get caught on an off day. City can get caught,
But Avi,
and it will be brilliant.
you say nothing's won or lost. Is it a bit too early to really throw the kitchen sink at Manchester City away from home?
I think if we lose if we lose that game,
You take a draw right now.
It's 4 points. No, I wouldn't. I believe we get all the troops back on that Thursday. Friday you'll have a session. We won't do a double session. You'll have a session. Saturday 12:30 you will catch them off guard as well, Asim. I think we beat them
on Friday.
I've said no, 100% not. 100% not. I think we beat them 2-1. I've said that already. I've tweeted that. I said we will beat City 2-1. I think these are best.
I will always back Liverpool, but before the game, if you asked for a draw 12 games in, if you're only 1 point behind Manchester City, it's not like the 2 seasons ago where we had to go and win because it was later on the season and we got a 2-2, I think it was. But it's early in the season, Avi.
Asim, if we have that approach, I'm sure we've had. I'm sure we've had that. We've had that approach in previous seasons where we'll take a draw away to Etihad.
Look,
we've got to be a little bit daring. I know. No, but you got to be a bit daring.
For me, you have to be clever as well. Look,
the comments are daring. The comments are daring.
Everybody wants us to go and win at the Etihad, and I get that. I say, but if you said to me, draw to, you take a draw, then they've got to come to Anfield, our place, towards the end of the season. We're one behind. And anything can sort of happen. Yes, of course, we all want to go there and win the game. That's
but I remember look. Once we kick off, if it's a 1-1, of course you take that. But right now, if you're offering me pre-game, no way. We're going there to win. That should be our mentality. What I want to see this season for the first time.
I'm not talking about mentality.
What I want to see is Klopp being a little bit bold in his selection. He's tried the cautious approach. He's tried that 4-2-4 in that season where we had the COVID season where we drew 1-1. We played well for the first 15-20 and then they came into their own. We've got to go there and we've got to throw some punches. We did in that season, in that quadruple attempt season where we drew 2-2.
Throw punches at City.
No, but last season we got schooled. There's been a few seasons where we just absolutely got battered by them.
Every time that we've really chased a title, we've done really well against City, especially at Anfield.
We've beaten them.
At Anfield, but we're at Etihad now.
Yeah, I know.
It would be nice. I think it means more for the Premier League as well as a whole. If we go out there and beat them, right? That will put a big marker down, Asim. That will be a big marker down. If we go out there at the Etihad and win, it will show other teams like the Arsenals, like the Spurs, like the Chelseas, maybe, like the United, maybe, that listen, you can go to Etihad and give it a right go.
Can I just address Jake's point? He says, Asim, you can't say my mentality is to go there and win and then say I will take a draw right now. It doesn't work that way. Why doesn't it? My mentality is, am I telling Liverpool to go park a bus? No. But what I'm saying is you can still have a positive approach like we will. We're bloody coached by Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp is not going to park a bus and go to City and go for a draw. I want Liverpool to play like we want to win the game. But in terms of the result, what I'm saying is you can't win the league even if we win at Manchester City, we don't win the league. But 4 points.
You can definitely put a marker down. Asim, you can put a marker down though. You can definitely put a marker down. Asim, you can definitely put a marker down though.
Of course.
If City, I tell you what, if City win, it will be like, oh, we're not there yet. Maybe we need to give ourselves a season yet before we start thinking about getting to City toe to toe, game from game one, going mano a mano with them. But if you beat them, imagine the belief in all of us. Even if we draw after full time, if it's a draw, even if it's a draw after full time, we will believe like, yeah, you know what Asim has been saying. It's going to be one of those seasons, lads, strap in. You know what? We'll start believing it more and more. You go out there and win. Oh, boys, then it's roll. Then let's go. Then it's like, let's fucking go then. Let's go with them.
But I mean, the more we go there, attack and get beat. This is my point here. What I'm trying to say is,
what did he say?
I said, look.
He said, what about if you go there being bold and you get beaten?
China is a brilliant point. It's a fine line between being brave and being naive.
There you go.
This is why
I would take a point, because then it shows that, you know what, we've been to the Etihad, and look, the reason why I said it is, if you said to me it's a place where 9 times out of 10 we get beat, bar let's say a season where we drew that 2-2, yeah, we generally get beat there. So if you were to say We've gone there, got a point. I'd take that. We've been to practically all
Okay.
the away stadiums. 1 second, Avi, and I'd take that right now. Of
I don't want to give you a
course,
second.
we want to win and put a proper statement down. And I know if we was to win the game, it would elevate us to another sort of level. Agreed. And I get that. Avi,
Okay.
I get your point. But to say right now where our team is, where we're at, because we're reaching that sort of top sort of level. If I took a point now at Etihad to a team that's like, we're getting there, that's a brilliant point. That was my
Okay.
point. I get, look, wanting to win, yes.
You know, the irony is
No,
a lot
one
of the
point.
fans-
You're speaking too much. You're speaking too much. One point. Let me make this one final comment.
Sorry,
Gene, let me make this.
I'm the host
Let me
in
make this
football
one final
today.
comment. One final comment, Gene. I tell you why we should go out there and have that mentality to win. I tell you why. It will erase the Brighton result, the Spurs result, and Luton result if we go out and beat them. Then there's no excuses. Then we can say, you know what? Right now, as we are 2 points ahead of City after full time, if we beat them, it will be like those results against Luton, against Spurs away, because we're still reeling after that Spurs result. It won't
That was
matter
a
as
cheat.
much.
That was a cheat. We
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
count
but
that.
it won't matter as much. Whereas if you draw, you'll always look back at that result. Shit, if
No,
only if we had beaten Luton.
no.
If only
You
did.
cannot.
It's the way
you
of the
cannot
world.
say-
It's the way of the world. It's how it works.
Yeah, Avi,
Asim, it's how it
Avi,
works.
You cannot. If there was 3 games to the end of the season and we drew Manchester City with a point behind them where we can go 2 ahead, then I would say, yeah, you've got a point. It's bloody 12 games in, and you're actually saying, oh, we're going to look back at the City result. We should be looking at the Brighton result, the Luton result.
So listen, you got to put your marker down, right? I'm not going there, and I'm sure you two ain't going there to the Etihad looking for a draw. We want to win, yes. I'm saying that Klopp needs to be a little bit bold in his selection that day. On that day at 12:30 kickoff, because
Okay,
look,
so how do you
City's
want
12. When was the last
How do you
time?
want Klopp? How do you want Klopp?
Someone in the comments. Asim, you're shouting now. Don't shout at me, please. Have some manners. Everyone in the comments, can you please let me know when the last time City played at 12:30? Because that will shock them as well. We're used to it, and we've done well relatively. The Newcastle game, the Wolves game. But let me no.
Newcastle was 5:30, man. I thought you came prepared.
Okay, 5:30. But okay, the Wolves game was 12:30. The Everton game, a Merseyside derby, was 12:30. So we've come a long way from those games and got 3 points. Yeah, Everton was a bit tough. Wolves was tough. Can someone let me know the last time City had a 12:30? Because they'll be in for a shock if they haven't had one this season, or it was quite a long time back last season. They'll be in for a shock.
Look, Avi, that's fair. But you know what? Cop-Outs TV, he spoke this year and he said, look, Man City versus Liverpool at Anfield, April.
Wow.
If we're 1 point behind, that is the game, bro. This is what I'm trying to say. If I'm happy right now, let's fast forward to April. We're 1 point behind. We've got them at Anfield. And, it completely changes the complexion because 9 times out of 10.
I don't want to look. I don't know. Why are we looking in April? Oh, Babe, why are we looking in April? We need to look now.
Avi, that's the business end of the season.
We could. Asim, okay. Asim, when we beat. Okay. Here's the point. When we won the title in 2019, right? 2019-2020 season, did we not beat City in October? Was that not a massive marker in that Premier League title that season? Was it not? Yes or no? When we beat them 3-1. When we beat them 3-1, though. Forget that. But that fixture was played in October.
Agreed.
That was very early in the season. We beat them 3-1 comprehensively. That was the biggest marker that season. That said, listen, City, we're ready for you. We won the Champions League. Now we're coming for the league. Now we're ready. That propelled us. That propelled us to another level. Us beating City showed us that we can now go every week, home or away, beat every team, and we did up until Watford in February.
Avi, you know what? Look, that what you've just said is actually a really fair point, and I understand that. But one thing you have to understand is that side that beat Man City at that time, we were actually the finished sort of article. We were ready to go toe-to-toe with anybody in world football. We were the finished article as a football team. Truth be told, we're not the finished article right now. So this is why I would take a draw right now, because I still believe there's so many levels that we need to unlock in terms of this Liverpool team. So I get your point, and of course we want to win, but we're not the finished article. A draw against City right now can sort of propel us still thinking, Etihad gone 1 point behind. We've still got them to come at Anfield. Yes, I get that we all want to go there and win. Fair play, and I get that. Look, I think we spoke about City for long enough, man, and this shows more or less about how we've sort of played this season. And I asked him the question for you. Look, and I was actually thinking, in terms of where we are tactically. And I know you're one that likes to know, likes to look at the tactical side of the game in terms of where you saw us at the start of the season. And let's talk about last season as well, where towards the back end of last season, there will be tweaks in the new sort of system. Yeah. What have you seen in terms of this Liverpool side tactically? And where do you see us going, let's say, over the next 24 whatever games that are left towards this season? And what's impressed you as well, I think?
What's impressed me, I think you have to understand where we were at when we changed system. I think when we came to this system, this 3-box-3 system, whilst we're in possession, it was still a 4-3-3. When we're in possession, it was a different setup. When we changed to this, we were already sort of tweaking the system a few times. We can remember mentioning, I think we played a 4-4-2 against Rangers at home, a 4-2-3-1, and maybe away from home as well. So we were trying out. It was obvious the manager and the coaching staff. I think Linders talks about it. I always love, by the way, Pep Linders' press conferences, because they give you a really good insight. The boss is the boss, of course, but when Linders comes, it's really refreshing because he gives you a proper insight as to what's happening in the training, on the training field. But he mentioned the reason why we put Trent in a central position in midfield whilst we're in possession is to make sure we're compact on and off the ball. And I've been reading a lot of nonsense, with all due respect, on Twitter, especially, where this is not working, this and that. I understand there needs to be a variety to Liverpool's play, especially when you've got such an important cog in the machine, in Trent, such a creative player, that you want him to express himself a bit more. But we've got a few more creators, sort of further up the field. So I'm not saying he's not needed there, but we have to play. This is generally speaking a positional type of setup. But Liverpool have their own style, a Klopp style on it, where it's fluid, really fluid at times, where you've seen versatile players.
Asim, just to agree, because I know you're in the flow. Do you think we're there yet, or we're still quite a long way away in terms of that ball possession? What you're trying to say, like, we want to be a little bit more possession controlled. We're not there yet, though.
We're not there. I mean, I think we all know what happened this summer with Fabinho and Henderson. I would take Fabinho in this 6th position right now, because I even think Klopp probably thought Fabinho is going to have one more season with McAllister and Szoboszlai. He's a proper 6, and I think he would have been I think when Trent came into midfield, Fabinho got better as well, because he had bodies around him. He got bodies around him, and I think that's what we needed. But I think we obviously took the money, and we exactly know that's history now. There's no point crying in over spilled milk. But I think Liverpool had to adjust, and I thought we mentioned it on the other day, where the manager looked at the position of Bajcetic, Thiago, Curtis, and McAllister. He thought, you know what, maybe at least get us through to January, and we'll see what happens. And we take stock of the position. But I think we are probably every Liverpool fan, if you ask them 2 positions where we're short in or we need cover, is 2 positions of left-sided centre-back, Robertson's position, and the 6. I think if we've got someone like Declan Rice in this Liverpool team, we're favourites for the title. That's how important the 6 is. And Liverpool fans want to see Trent high and wide, a more conventional role, so he can go over the overlap and provide assists like he's been doing. We have to understand we don't play with a natural 6 now. So he has to be there to make sure he provides us the control. And you've got Gravenberch and Curtis and Szoboszlai, who are really comfortable on the half turn. So we are giving this guy a different role. Yes, he won't be creating a lot of assists and this and that, but he can still be very expressive, because, like I say, Liverpool have got this Klopp style on this setup, and he will come into positions where he can really make a difference, on the outside of the box or in the right half space. But if you look at the actual game scene, just to finish off, Liverpool have been playing with a variety. They have been playing with a variety. And I think the ball against Chelsea, the over-the-top one for Bournemouth, where you've seen Trent playing a third centre-back role. On the which goal was it? Nottingham Forest, I think it was, at home, where he pinged it first time to Jota. It was Bournemouth, and then he squared it to Diaz, who equalised it for 1-1. So we've seen Trent popping up. Generally, yes, he has been central, but I think, we might see this position evolve, where I can see he's been making some comments as well with England. Obviously, he probably knows his best chance to play for England is a midfield role, because he's got 2-3 right backs that he's probably not going to get in because of his defensive, weaknesses. But for Liverpool, maybe we address that and play Gomez, a more conventional right back, and then give him the freedom. But you're going to have the same problems. Everyone is saying McAllister is not a natural 6. Well, Trent is not going to be a natural 6 because he's going to be brilliant on the ball. But is he really going to provide, recover space really well and running behind and going the other way? He doesn't really want to do it, at right back. If we're going to believe all these Twitter guys, is he really going to do it when he's going to really be needed to play in a really disciplined role in the 6th position? So, Avi, just to sort of
Asim, would you say Rodri is a conventional 6 then?
Come on,
Rodri.
No. Would you just say he's a 6 though? I wouldn't say he's just a 6. I think he's got so many facets that I don't think he's a recognized 6. He can play. Yeah, he can do everything. But I think that's why I think when you're a possession-based team, as City are, as the old Barcelona team is, and Busquets was a 6, but they had so much more facets to their game. I think that it gets. I think we underrate Rodri. Like, we can't just say he's just a destroyer. He isn't. He's so much more than that.
Different type of 6.
In the last 12 months, he's been coming up with important goals. Champions League final, just to mention one. Even the Chelsea goal last weekend. He's been popping up, and I think that is a tweak to the thingy because they generate so much control. They pin back the opposition so much that he's allowed to pop up outside the box. But I think, Avi, we will get there. We will get total control. But I think we just need to sort of, adjust the team with a few really, really missing pieces, and it'll come.
Look, Asim, you mentioned in terms of how we've been playing over the last 12 games, and obviously we signed Alexis McAllister, who I think we were all sort of raving about. When he came, I was over the moon with that sort of signing. Avi, I've come to you. Look, in terms of McAllister, I know he's played out of position, and he's not the conventional 6 that we wanted in a 6. But how would you, overall, what would you give his sort of, not just his rating, but in terms of his performance? How do you think he's played over the last 12 games? Because I'll be honest, for me, it's a bit mixed. I think he's had a couple of good games. I think some games, obviously, he's got caught out. He loses the ball quite a few times. I know he's not the player that we wanted to play there, but what have you made of his performances so far? And are you happy with him continuing as a 6? Let's say we don't sign somebody in January, because that is a possibility. How would you feel?
First of all, I thought he was a fantastic acquisition. I know you have watched him a little bit more, with Argentina and stuff, Gene. He surprised me. I knew he was a good player at Brighton, but I think we've seen glimpses of where his potential is going to take him, what his trajectory is in this Liverpool team. It certainly isn't a full-time 6, but he's shown us that he's going to be one of those controllers in midfield. Regurgitates the ball, passes it along, can chip in with goals, can chip in with assists, can play between the half spaces. I think McAllister will be a fantastic player. I think he's been okay. I'm not going to be one of those criticisms that, he's been even like in his sort of positions, when he gets into good positions, he lets go of the ball very easily, or the turnovers, or he's very slow to get back. He's playing it in an unfamiliar team right now. He's come in, he's got a new midfield around him. He hasn't got Caicedo with him. He hasn't got the likes of Solly Marches on the wing, or Lallana to do the dirty work around him, or the other midfielders. They have Pascal Gross in that 10 at Brighton. He's working with a brand new midfield at Liverpool. He's still figuring it out. 3 months into this season, 4 months in, I think he's been okay. I don't think he's wasted in the 6. I think he's learning in the 6, but it's not a position that he's going to be full-time. He can't be a full-time 6.
He played the same position for Argentina yesterday and didn't have the best of games. Look, I'm McAllister's biggest fan, Asim, and I know. Look, we always want, and I think Ariz mentioned it as well. Just say we sign an actual 6 in January. When you see the lives of let's say Gravenberch and Jones, the way they every time they've played, they've actually done a really, really good job in that position. Gravenberch, I can accept, has had a couple of games where he hasn't been amazing, but he's generally doing really well. And Jones, every time he's played, I think he's played really, really well. That is going to be a big problem in terms of. And I agree with Arib. It's a worry in terms of we've got 3 players that sort of play that same sort of position. Is he a 100% guaranteed starter?
Probably not, Gene, especially when you mention the likes of Gravenberch and Curtis Jones. If we're going to play with Jota, for example, if Diaz is playing, he'll probably suit Diaz a bit more because Diaz can hold width a bit better than Jota. If Jota is playing, he wants to come inside And the reason why Curtis and Diaz have been playing really well, even though I mentioned Diaz can hold width, generally speaking, he's been coming inside because Liverpool, like I mentioned earlier, have been playing with a lot of fluidity. But with McAllister, he doesn't have that ability to, put his studs on the touchline and let Jota or let Diaz come inside. But Gravenberch and Curtis can do it. And you even saw Gakpo do it on the weekend, where they can, sort of interchange. Has he got that ability? Has he got that in his locker? Probably not. But when we signed him, Gene, this guy was a three-phase player. We said we've signed our Gundogan, if you like. He can play in the 6, he can play in the 8, he can play in the 10 as well. So I think we have to cut him some slack. Generally speaking, I think he's done a really good job. All things considered, he's a tenacious guy. He's got that South American blood in him. He can put a tackle in. But as we've been discussing with Trent, he's not a guy to cover space. He's not.
And you mentioned that, I'm not going to go back to what Avi, obviously me and you and Avi used to fight over. Avi thought he might play on the right hand side. Can we see just say we buy a 6? It might be a case of if we really want Szoboszlai and McAllister to both play in the 10s, that they switch positions, because we saw that in pre-season, and Avi was a big advocate of it at the start of the season. That might be something where they both actually switch over. McAllister plays on the right, what we saw in pre-season, and Szoboszlai moves to the left hand side because he's good enough to play on the outside.
Yeah, well,
Asim, when we talk about fluidity in the team, when we talk about fluidity, we saw it against Wolves as well, where Szoboszlai played in that 6. He played in that pivot 6 with Jones. So maybe we could elevate McAllister in during games, because listen, Pep does it. Pep's great at it. De Zerbi does it at Brighton. I think with us, we could see that a bit more fluidity. We could push McAllister in the 8 to work the half spaces, and Szoboszlai drops back, because we know Szoboszlai's got the engine to track back as well.
The only thing I would say about that is Szoboszlai can do it. Let's say he's going to play on the left hand side when we're off the ball in a 4-4-2 and Salah is with Nunez in the press. That would mean McAllister is right wing.
Right wing, yeah.
Do you understand? Szoboszlai is fine in the double pivot. Then McAllister is in the right wing. Is that his position? Szoboszlai can play that. Not.
I was backing you up here, man. I was saying, bloody, we're going back to the formation that you were saying in pre-season, where we were arguing, saying Szoboszlai is going to play on the right. You were saying he's going to play on the left, and McAllister on the right. That's actually a viable option where they both switch.
In an ideal situation, yeah. But then who's the 6?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying.
The reason why, Gene, I think, look, we saw McAllister's interview, and I think Klopp's interview as well in regards to what the idea was. Yeah, 100% the idea was McAllister on the right. But I think that was just to create a bit of balance and control in how sort of attacking Trent and Salah was. But I think they've been surprised, pleasantly surprised at how sort of controlled in deeper areas Szoboszlai is. I think that's why they're really happy with him on the right-hand side. And I think that he's become a mainstay on the right-hand side as well.
And I think we have to bear in mind, like Luke says, I think overall the main aim is to have Badišić as our DM going forward as he looks the part, and I'm excited to see him blossom in this team when he's back. And I think with the way Klopp's been speaking in his interviews, I think they were banking on Badišić being fit. Maybe not the start of the season, but like 3-4 games in, he'll be back. I know he played against the Europa League team. He done very well. He played at right back at times as well. I think we're relying on Badišić to come back and then stay fully fit. And then he's integrated in that 6, and then you're enabling your McAllisters, your Jones, your Szoboszlais, your Gravenberch, whoever formulates the left center side of that midfield and the right center midfield side. Then you're just sort of like formulating them together. I think that's the plan. But the questions will be asked: do we need a 6 now in January?
Look, I'll be honest with you, Avi. I've been calling for a proper 6 for a long time. If you really want to unlock the right sort of players, and I want Badišić to come back, and I want him to blossom, and I think he'll be a wonderful player. But you still need to have a proper 6. Can you? It's a position that we know how big that position is. If you don't have a proper recognized 6, you sort of struggle. So it's important that we bring one in, because we need one. There's no getting away from this. Thiago's going to be gone next season, and we have to sort of be proactive in terms of who comes in and sort of plan. Which success is planning. If we actually want to get there, it has to be done. And look, it's a no-brainer for me bringing in a 6. It's just we have to bring in a 6. I would love for us to bring one in Jan. We generally do business in Jan. We've always done pretty well. Decore or Zubimendi? Asim can answer that when he gets it. But you know what? This is the thing that for me they're two different players, but Asim can take that.
I think Avi needs to talk about Zubimendi because he actually talked about him first. I did a bit of a stat graphic on him.
Oh yeah, you did.
I think Avi mentioned him first.
Was that on your old account or your new account?
Hey, I'm up to 7,000 followers now. I'm coming for you.
Mashallah.
Avi, give us your lowdown on Zubimendi.
Dazzle mentioned Avi. Dazzle, before you go, Dazzle mentioned Andre as well. So your thoughts on him as well, Decore and Zubimendi.
Decore, Crystal Palace. Look, once we were linked with him, we all like for me, not enough of him. I'm not seeing enough of him. Andre, you know what? Yesterday he put a tackle in on Diaz. Yesterday it was a block, and he's a very unique footballer in terms of. And I know Asim says he can't see him in a lone six. I can see him in a lone six, but I can also see him playing in a centre back of a three. He reminds me of a Lothar Matthäus. Like he plays the sweeper role very well for Fluminense.
Nobody's playing sweeper roles now, man.
No, but as that the one that picks it up from deep. I know we've got great passes. Van Dijk's a great passer of the ball. Gomez, someone who brings the ball up from deep. Andre's a very good player, Gene. And yesterday that block, he's got that tenacity that I want to see in a player. Brazilian, he's got a little bit of attitude with him. I like that. I would invite that in our team. Whether he can play a lone six, only time will tell. That's up to the coaches to work out, whether he can play a lone six or he needs a pivot next to him, he needs a player next to him. But Zubimendi, if we want to mirror what City are doing, Zubimendi has it all. He has the passing range, he has the control, he knows how to work the tempo. He is
linked to Arsenal and Bayern Munich, by the way, Avi.
He's a more agile Jabi Alonso. The actual careers are the same. Sociedad, Basque region, captain leaderships, aggressive. Zubimendi is the all-round complete player. He will be my choice as a 6. 24? 25. It's a perfect age to get out now, to get out of Spain and go to another league. Like if Arsenal pivot him with Rice, then we're talking about Arsenal being one of the favorites. Right now, I think Arsenal are 2-3 short. They're a Zubimendi short. They're a number 9 short, like a number 9, like a Harry Kane short. But they get Zubimendi, it just changes them into thinking. Zubimendi for me is the perfect control player if we want to mirror what City are doing, possession based.
What about playing Bajcetic at right back, playing Trent as a lone 6, and Bajcetic coming into midfield? So it'll be a box midfield of Bajcetic, Trent, and then you can have McAllister and Szoboszlai as you 10.
That's like saying playing Bajcetic in the 6 and Trent at right back, and he can come in, isn't it? It's just they're just swapping positions.
Yeah. But the reason why I mentioned it is because even though I think is the evolution of Trent, you probably will see him in midfield at some point.
Boston, do we have?
I think it's frustrating even the way he speaks sometimes. Like he doesn't want to be at right back anymore.
But Asim, the issue that I have with that then is, okay, we missed Trent as the old game in front of him, and he's playing at the back. He can pick up the ball from the centre backs, look up. He's good enough to spray the ball from anywhere. Does Bajcetic have that?
Bajcetic has got a ping. He's got a pass.
Asim is all right from what I've seen.
No, he's got a pass in him. Come on, Gene.
Obviously,
you've seen 2 months of him.
He's not going to be Trent. Of course.
No, I'm not saying be Trent. I'm saying play the ball over the top, like that whip across. Let's say the ball that he has. Okay, look, if you guys have seen that, then maybe you're right. I've not really seen it. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm not gonna say I've seen him spray passes. Yeah, I haven't. But if you guys believe that he's got that in his locker, then I'll go with you guys.
Look, I think if we're trying to get Bajcetic to emulate what Trent does, if we're trying to get Bajcetic to emulate what Trent does at right back, that's not going to happen. Trent is a very unique footballer. We've called him generational for a reason. You can't assume that Bajcetic is going to do that. But Bajcetic may offer you more solidity at right back than Trent does. But even though this season Trent's been good in the one-on-one duels, we've seen him. He's done well on that right-hand side. Newcastle may be a way where Gordon got the better of him at times, but I thought he was fine after he got that early yellow card. You got to remember that as well.
Right away.
Well, I said 1 second. I remember seeing Bajcetic at right back towards the back end of last season, and I didn't think he did the great at all. I can't remember which game it was. I don't know if guys can remind me of it. Obviously he hasn't played this season. It was the back end of last season where he started the game at right back. And I didn't think
I thought he was good in the Europa League this season when he was a right back this season. He played at right back this season.
It might have been Avi, you know, I'm maybe
away from home to Lansk, whoever that team is, Lank, whoever. I thought he was okay. I thought he played very well in that game, but then he came off as well, like 60, 70.
Okay, TK. Maybe it might have been me. But look, moving on, Asim, I think there's another player today which I really wanted to talk about was the two that I really wanted to talk about was McAllister and Gakpo. And Gakpo, Avi, and I'll come to you first on Gakpo because I saw Gakpo come in January last season. I thought he did a fantastic job until the end. And I genuinely thought we would see Gakpo, even though I wanted Darwin Nunez to be the starting number 9 this season. I thought Gakpo was going to get the nod, and we're going to see a completely revitalized, different Gakpo. But I feel as though he might have had the Darwin Nunez syndrome of last season, where you know new players come in January, you know, in Gakpo, and Nunez went off the sort of boil. And I sort of feel the same in terms of Gakpo, where Darwin Nunez, he didn't have the best of couple of games at the start of Gakpo. Darwin Nunez has come in, he's hit the ground more or less straight away, scoring goals, and he feels like he's our main number 9. In terms of Gakpo, how do you assess his performances for us when he's played, and you know, where do you sit with him?
I think technically he's a fantastic footballer. He came in January. He sort of brought some fresh impetus that we desperately needed, because Darwin was getting little niggles, out of form. You know, the media were behind his back. You know, that wouldn't do his confidence any good. Gakpo comes in, gets a few goals. His link-up play. People are saying, you know, the new Bobby is here. You know, we can let Bobby go because Gakpo's in 9 to play that 9. He can drop back deeper. I think Nunez has come so far on from last season that we're seeing Nunez, his work rate, you know, has gone to another level. As I mentioned it on his thread as well, that he put up on Twitter.
So you do read them?
Gakpo, of course, read them all the time. I read them, revise them, a few words here and there, and I put fancy words back on the show again. But no, with Gakpo, I think it's been a bit of a stop-start season. He's grabbed goals. I think he's got like 4 or 5 goals in like 12, 13 games. So I think his goal scoring is fine. The Spurs goal was very well taken, and then he gets that injury, you know, which is so unfortunate. And then we had to change tactically and switch it up. But I think there's a lot more to come from him. Again, similar to McAllister, there's a lot more to come from Gakpo, and I hope that he gets that game time to flourish. But right now, Diaz and Jota have got that left side, you know, pinned down to a T. You've got Nunez as the 9. If he stays fit, he will be your central 9. And then we know Gakpo doesn't play on that right hand side where Salah is occupying. So
I suppose he has played in the midfield a few times as well. I've never been a fan of him playing in that position.
Gene, I think because you mentioned, like, you know, is he having a sort of a Darwin Nunez season last season? But I think we can't expect all our strikers to be scoring 30, 40 goals every single season. Gakpo, I think, is a very, very smart footballer, a very, very good acquisition to have in the squad. And what you just said about midfield, he gives us options, Gene. And yes, I think, look, I want to give the credit, you know, to Klopp and his coaching staff to say that they had the idea of, you know, him sort of integrating him into the new Bobby, because look, obviously Bobby was on the way out and they needed to replace him. They had already bought Diaz, so they had a touchline winger who can score goals for Mane. So you have to give credit. But even though they did start him out on the left-hand side, I think you have to give the credit to them. And this is now we're seeing the fruits of it. Why? Because this guy is such a versatile player. He can play in the left, he can play on the right, he can play in the half, in the number 10 Bobby role, false 9, and he can play a touchline a winger on the left-hand side because he's been playing it for PSV when he came. So I think even last weekend when we had a few injuries, we threw this guy in midfield because we needed a bit of extra physicality in there. And just to sort of really match up with Brentford's, physicality in midfield and throughout the team as well. So I think this guy is big, he's strong, and I think you're just going to get him, you're going to see him play not a bit part role, but in playing different positions. And like Avi said, he's got goals, and he's got like a knack of appearing in the box this season. I think Wolves, Brighton, the Spurs equalizer,
Bournemouth in the cup game.
Bournemouth. So he has got a knack of
Wolves before he was brought off.
yeah. And so we do need that role was for Darwin Nunez, and everyone's been talking about it. But Gakpo has sort of appeared the right time, the right place a few times this season. So, but generally speaking, Gene, this guy is a proper smart player where he can play in 3-4 positions, and I think this is what you're going to have. Darwin Nunez, we do know, has niggling injuries. So we've got that option. And like I said, if you've got 5 strikers and they all actually contributing to the team, it's it's just gonna, sort of contribute, to Liverpool's, great season, hopefully. So I think we have to say Gakpo has come. Yeah, he might have not set the world alight, but because he's been playing in 3-4 positions, I think you have to sort of really give him credit for that and consider the fact that you can't, he's not been playing, because of his injury as well. And every time he plays, it's probably a different position. So we have to bear that in mind.
That's fair. Look, the reason why, because I rated Gakpo really highly, Asim, and I genuinely thought, even though, like I mentioned, I wanted Nunez to start this season, because Gakpo, had such an amazing season last season. I thought, maybe he could probably sort of carry it sort of on. But fair play to him. Look, end of the day, we've got 5 strikers who are, even if 1 or 2 are not on song, we've got other players that are good enough. And you've mentioned this on previous shows, that they all offer us something different, and Gakpo offers us something that none of our strikers offer. But look, moving on, Asim,
just before you finish it, Gene, I forgot to mention that I think the fact that Nunez, you have to give Nunez is, for me, has taken out Gakpo out of that role, is because of the way he has connected play. And the reason why you wanted to play Gakpo is because he was playing that Bobby Firmino role. And to Nunez's credit, he's keeping him out of that, because he's the main man at the moment. Because we knew we're going to have better 8s and better 10s to supply that ball on the shoulder. And that's not Gakpo's role. So Nunez, to his credit, is keeping Gakpo out of that role at the moment. And, when you have a striker who can play on the shoulder and connect play, then he's the finish. He's the real deal, isn't he?
You also got to give...
I'll stick on Nunez. I'm actually going to come to you in terms of Nunez. Obviously, look, we've seen, so many, we've seen various aspects of his game where he's improved. I think his link-up play for this season, honestly, I'm going to be honest and be the first one to say it. I thought it would take him a lot longer than it did. It sort of seems like he's clicking with a lot more players onto the pitch. His link-up play is brilliant. His hold-up play is brilliant. He's a player that we can sort of see that, hopefully take his game to at least 2 levels above. Are you surprised to see how well he's done over the last, let's say, these 12 games? Yes, he's missed a few, but in terms of his evolution and growing as a player,
I'm not surprised, because I knew, listen, this player's going to eventually come good. I saw him a lot at Benfica. You could see he was a natural finisher at Benfica. That's 34 goals a season against us. He played very well at Anfield, very well at the state where they play at home. Benfica scored a very good goal, in the Champions League ties. Last season, he comes in and that pressure already, because of Haaland as well was coming into the Premiership. We already said, Nunez will be this. And obviously, we're going to support our boy. We're going to support our boy more than anything. But he's needed a bit of time. We saw the immaturity in him against Joachim Andersen in the Palace game last season, where he gets the red card. He's learned from that. He knows not to get ticked off now from players or defenders that are going to just be snapping at his heels. This season, he's taking his game to that level where he's holding it up. He's dropping back. He's creating. He's assisting. He's got like 4 or 5 assists to his name already, along with his goals. I think he's got 7. He's got 7 in 17. He's only got 1 in 2 this season. You would like a little bit more PL goals in him. He's only got 4, but he's going to get 25. Actually, there's no issue with that. I think with Darwin Nunez we're still going to get the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're still going to get that. We're still going to get those misses, that we saw against Europe. Who was it? Against Toulouse, where he controls it, goes past the keeper. And we've seen Torres do it against United when he was playing at Chelsea. He misses the open goal. We'll still get that in Nunez's game, but he'll be scoring a lot more than he did last season. Last season he got 15 in 45. I think he'll get 25 to 30 in less games. His goal scoring ratio will be fantastic this season.
Yeah, 100%.
Asim, I'm coming to you in terms of Darwin. Look, obviously we know that, you know, we all three of us, we believe we're going to sort of challenge for this title. And I do believe, Avi and Asim, look, is that you can't be missing the chances that he misses if you want to go and win a title, guys. And that is my only little issue that I have with Darwin Nunez. And I loved him and I wanted him to start, and I believe he's that good of a player. And yes, there's going to be moments when he's going to win those games. He's our striker. That's what he's there for, to win his games. I don't want him to be the reason why we lose games, though, because if we're going for the title, you have to be good enough to put the chances that he gets. Let's say the misses are a bit too easy, let's say. And I think that I don't want to turn back into the season where Avi mentioned previously that, you know, there's, you know, drawing to, we might look back and say that draw against Man City was a result that we should have won.
Well, that Luton chance. Look at that Luton chance that he had. Should have scored.
I'm actually going back. I was actually going to go back to the Luton game. I don't want to turn back and say, you know what, Darwin Nunez, there was 3 games where we drew. Darwin Nunez missed 2 absolute sitters. That might cost us the title. Look, I'm his biggest fan, and I don't want people to think that, you know, I'm being harsh on him. I'm not. But there's fine. We all know, I think it's fine margins that win you and lose you titles, especially when you get up against City.
I get that. It's a valid point, Gene, 100%. And there'll be many fans, you know, that think the same about you. I've just seen Kadir actually appear in the comments. It's been a nice break for him, man. Nice break. Kadir, I have to stop because you were the one of the real ones, one of the special ones. Hope you're well, brother, and nice to see you in the chats, and hope your family's well, good as well. But Gene, with Darwin Nunez, I think I don't have any worries about Darwin Nunez. As long as we provide enough chances for him, I think he's going to bang. Haaland misses a lot of chances, but because Manchester City creates so many, nobody talks about it. And if you actually check, I'm not exactly, maybe someone in the comments can tell us in terms of his chance conversion, the exact stat. I don't think Nunez will be far off Haaland's. I don't think so. Fair. But I think as long as we keep providing those chances, but look, you're fully right. You're 100% right about Luton. Maybe, look, no striker, nobody, even Alan Shearer, the great strikers of the Premier League, Thierry Henry's, wherever they were, whether it was a Fox in the box, Michael Owens, Robbie Fowler's, Ian Rush, they missed chances. But because they got that goal on the day and missed maybe 2 sitters, nobody talks about the sitters. So maybe, carry on, Avi, go on, what are you going to say?
No, sorry. I think he misses just that killer instinct still. And that may come, that may not come into his game, but it needs to come. If he wants to be a 9, if he wants to be recognized as a world-class player, he's 23, 24 years old. He can still develop that. He just needs to have that killer instinct. Suarez had it after that first initial Kenny Dalglish season. Suarez had that under Rodgers. Those 2 years under Rodgers, he had that.
But Avi, I think you have to give him a bit of time. I think that killer instinct was, evident at Newcastle. 2 chances, 2 goals. So I think,
but then you don't miss the chances that he has, the easier chances. You don't miss those. From
Avi, how many chances does Salah miss?
Diogo Jota, killer instinct. Diogo Jota, killer instinct.
Yeah, look, I get both sides of the argument. I'll be honest. I actually get and I understand. Sorry, I actually get.
What's going on?
Sorry, my other phone's ringing. I have to turn it off. Yeah, I actually get the both sides of the argument because
even his family are not used to him hosting the show.
Listen, man,
he's getting Mubarak calls. Mubarak.
People, listen. The people that are on this chat, I can guarantee you they will be giving me 8s by the end of this show because I know they've enjoyed this show because I hosted it. Yeah, you two, the Fange, your own stories going. Asim goes on his tantrums and Asim goes on.
The host is only as good as his guests. Just remember that.
Exactly.
Oh, here we go.
Asim, he hasn't got the killer instinct. He hasn't got the killer instinct. Guata ho gaya.
You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've actually quite enjoyed it for once. You know, it's actually I just
wasn't hard after all, was it?
Yeah, I just don't like it, man. I like to talk. I just don't like asking the questions. I want to talk, but you actually give me opportunities to speak, so I'll let you off, man. I'll let you off. See, Tiki's the man.
I don't worry about Darwin Nunez. I do not worry. And you have to give him his flowers about in terms of the composure. We've seen the composure. We've seen calmness and coolness in front of goal, and even the assists, guys. You know, just that Brentford goal. You know, the awareness. Yeah. And even, you know, it's not coincidence why he's picking up. I know they're probably all to Salah, but he shows a different connection in different ways. But you have to understand that he's bringing a different facet to his game in different areas, whether it's front of goal, whether it's, chance creating, it's all in terms of in betterment of bettering his game. So look, I think you have to give it time and maybe judge him at the end of the season and say, you know what, if you've got 25, 30 goals at the end of the season, then you have to say, he's had a great season. But it's been a great start, and I think it's only going to get better.
And just on this, if we're going on by statistics right now, and I'm just going off like the trajectory of our forwards right now, Jota's penciled in for 20 in all competitions. He's got 8 and 16 right now. He's penciled in to have about 20. Salah's penciled in to have another 25, 30 goal season. Gakpo's penciled in to have about a 12 to 15. Diaz is penciled in to have a 12 to 15. Then you've got Nunez, who's penciled in right now. If he goes along and he plays, and we're assuming that they're all fully fit towards the end of the season, he's penciled in to have a 20 to 25 season. That really wins you the league, Gene. If the goals are spread out like that, you want to hopefully make sure that they're more in the league than the cup competitions, but that wins you the league. And if you look at the 2019-2020 season, we didn't have killer instinct players when we won the league. That little period, we had Mane, Salah, Bobby. They would still miss chances, but we would score goals. They would score goals. Mane would get 25 in all competitions. Salah would get 30, and Bobby would get his 10 to 15.
Look, you mentioned the goal scoring aspect of it, and I get that completely. And all these amazing goals and statistics you're throwing at me, fair play. But the bottom line is, guys, we have to speak about our defense, and we have to give flowers out to our defenders so far this season. And it's important that we speak about that, because come on, only conceding 10 goals joint. We were sat here, raving about Man City's defense, saying that they don't concede any goals. Well, we've only conceded 10 with a joint in terms of Arsenal in the first 12 games. And 2 of them were against flipping Spurs, and we know what actually happened in that sort of game. So look, I want to speak about our defense, because I genuinely believe, Asim, if I know we're a sort of left-sided centre-back short in terms of with Robbo's injury.
Yeah.
How big of an impact is Robbo's injury? Because obviously I think he's going to be out now till the end of December.
End of December.
I thought he's back in December.
Mid-December, I think. How big of an injury is that to us? And can it? So because look, as all due respect to Tsimikas, he's nowhere near the level, and we both know that. And this is the one gripe that I've always had with Liverpool. I always feel as though we're always like an injury short of us going to the next sort of level, and that's what I sort of feel as though in terms of this us defensively, one injury, and I don't want that to sort of derail us.
Yeah, 100%. If you looked at the lines of Liverpool team, Gene, once the transfer day window closed, even though there was a lack of a natural 6, we still had bodies there, guys who can do a job, the likes of Gakpo, Curtis, and we mentioned before with McAllister and all these guys, Bacitic, Thiago. Then up front we had 5. I think I called it before. I think them 5 up front are the best in the world in terms of attributes, in terms of what they give us. And their output, I think, bar none, the best in the world. In terms of our defense, that was always going to be the Achilles heel for me. And we haven't seen it yet, because I think Tsimikas, Gomez has obviously done a job on the left-hand side as well. It'll be interesting to see where we go away to City. I think he's going to play Gomez on the left-hand side. I think we just need a bit more stability. I think in big games we can do that. If you see Arsenal, if you see Manchester City, they're going literally with 3-4 defenders, and they're just letting the other guys further forward express themselves. I think Liverpool just need to take a leaf out of their book and just become a bit more conservative in transition. We don't need to commit so many players against Manchester City. I know Avi goes, we need to go for it, but we still need to realize who we're playing and where we're playing, and just make sure those teams, have the deserved respect, on the given day. But I think in terms of our cover, we've always been talking about Tsimikas and Robertson are both, fullbacks / wingers rather than left-sided centre-backs, wing-back / fullback. So we needed something different, but I think we can get away with it. If he comes back and gets the ball rolling straight away, I think we should be able to, Gomez, to his credit, has done a brilliant job, all things considered, whether he's played on the right-hand side, whether he's played on the left-hand side. We just need to make sure he stays fit and gets game time, because when he came on earlier, he showed a bit of dopey moments. But like with even Shimikas for the last week or so, where a bit of extra game time, a bit of confidence can do wonders. And we just need to make sure we get through this period, get Robertson back, and you never know. We've got Avi in the house. Maybe we can dip into the transfer market come January.
It's funny you mentioned that. I was actually coming to him next. There's a few comments in regards to 8 Nuri from Wolves. Avi, man, Avi, it's November time. It's your time of the year. What do you think? Where do you think?
Aziz, is that why the mustaches? Is it the Movember? Yeah.
It's the negotiations. No, you know what? I think Nuri's a great player. I've seen him quick, left, technical,
Avi,
great ability.
We ain't getting him.
Oh. No, I Nuri is a good player, but I also believe that we've got a talented young left back, Callum Scanlon, who's a live wire. Whether we see him further up in a forward 3 in the future, I like him a lot. He came from Coventry, I believe. He's a bit of a busy bee in that left back. If he can develop the rate that we've seen with Kwanzaa and other players that are coming, like the Bajiciches and stuff, I think he will be the one that we will put our money in and say, you know what, he's the understudy to Robbo. Needs another. I said this in summer. Probably needs another 18 months. If we can get away with Tsimikas being that number 2 for Robbo, I'm not too sure, but Gomez is a great cover. We've seen Gomez not lift. He's not done anything wrong this season. He's played very well when called upon. But Callum Scanlon is the one that I'd rather not sort of stunt. I'd rather not stunt from his stunt his growth. But Nuri is a great player. If we do go for him, it shows you that we've got another. That's a great talent ID. You know, he's been around for a few years as well at Wolves. So, and he's always done a good job against us as well. Whether it's Salah or whether it's mostly Salah. He usually gets the better of him in the game, especially in the recent games.
You know, you mentioned Scanlon, and again, Asim, I'll come to you for this. Like, my issue with Scanlon is I want a centre back that has that first ability is to be able to defend rather than go forward. And Scanlon for me is a player that's, he seems like a player that loves to bomb on forward. Exactly. And this is why I think it's important that we actually sign somebody who sits in the 3, even more so when McAllister is the 6. So you actually need 3 players who are good enough defensively that will at least give you a little solidify you, especially when you've got McAllister in the 6.
Yeah, 100%. I think if you even look at the right back role, the 6th role, like you said, Liverpool want Trent high. Liverpool fans want Trent high and wide. It's probably not the reason why you're not seeing it is because we don't have a natural 6. And then if you do consider the left back role, is because we like Shimikas, so we've got Robertson who like to bomb on and be the 6th attacker when we really, especially playing at home. They're not, part of the 3 when we lose possession. So you've got, you've got Trent in midfield, and you've got only Kanate and or Matip or Van Dijk. I think Liverpool only do that when they really chase games, and we've seen it in second half performances. I think Wolves was one where we were rubbish for the first half. We thought, sort this, and Robertson went really high and wide. Even against Brentford, if you're playing a flat 5, we want to create overloads on the left-hand side. We let Shimikas go because these guys are not comfortable in the first phase of build-up. And this is why he was a bit nervous and he was pressed really high. And he lost the ball a few times. I think in even Europa League games, he lost. I think Toulouse was one of the games, wasn't it? So I think this is the reason why we're putting him high and wide. But we're taking more risks. And we can't take more risks against someone like Manchester City, because Manchester City will probably, even in the build-up, let 4 defenders stay, and then they have the double pivot. At least they'll have 3, or Kyle Walker pushing in from the right and the right side. For Liverpool, do need to get conservative, but you're right. I think it needs to be a body where it's comfortable on in a left back role. Someone like an Ake. Yeah. They can do a left back.
He's been a fantastic acquisition, by the way, Ake, at Man City. And there were a lot of eyebrows raised with that signing. Yeah. Why are they getting Ake? He hasn't really pushed on from Bournemouth, but obviously Pep's seen something, and he's been a very astute signing.
And these two, I think these two. I'm not gonna pretend I'm an expert about these two, But this is the sort of kind of defenders that we want, who can play in a 4 if we need to, even in possession as a left back, and in a 3, are comfortable in one-on-one positions as well. Because when you're on the touchline, you're effectively a fullback. And this is the reason why I think some people have mentioned Kwanzaa can do that. Gomez can do it because he's played that right back, he's played that left back, and he's got the mobility to sort of have be comfortable in those one-on-one situations. And if you're not comfortable in those situations on the touchline, you'll struggle. Someone like Colwill, I thought when I see him, I don't see a guy who can be on the touchline, Avi. I think he looks like a left-sided centre-back in a 4 rather than a left-back. He doesn't look like... Have you seen him? I don't see the mobility in him.
But is that more of the case that Asim is still young? This is his first real season for a big... Well, I can't say Brighton aren't a big team. They're a big team, but his first real season, Chelsea are still figuring things out. Pochettino still fiddling around with formations. So it could be just like a transition period. I think Colwell's a fantastic talent. Just a word on, obviously, Jarell Quansah. He's a massive talent, and we must be patient. He will make mistakes, but he looks as if he's got that ceiling in another year or 2 years. Lloyd Kelly from Bournemouth is a big shot, and I know there's been talks of maybe us revisiting Lloyd Kelly, because when he was at Bristol, we were in talks with them, but he opted to go to Bournemouth because of his first team opportunities. He has had a few injuries, but he's another good talent. But Gene, when it boils down to it, that man again, Virgil van Dijk, words that have last week, back to his imperious best, looks like a colossus, mammoth. He's hitting those heights again. 2018 to 2020, those levels, I've never seen any of those levels in any defender. The Nestors, Cannavaros, you chuck every Yapstam, who I thought was one of my favorite defenders. Unfortunately, he played for the ugly side of Manchester. But Virgil van Dijk during those 2-3 years, untouchable. He won't reach those levels, but the levels that he's reaching now, again, there is no one near that level outside of Virgil van Dijk. Saliba's, I know Asim's mentioned, like he rates him, I rate Saliba, but there's no one. You can look out in Europe.
On this panel said Saliba's better defender than Van Dijk.
I can't remember who that was.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Who was it? Was it him?
It was Sarib.
Gina?
It was Sarib.
Gina. Gina. Listen, but Asim,
I remember, mate. I remember.
The worst thing was
Asim, these are the same guy that said Fabio Cavalier would be Ballon d'Or. But y'all can't even get a game at Leipzig right now, and he's calling him Ballon d'Or.
Listen,
maybe he thought Cavalier was going to win the video dart.
Guys, listen to me. Listen, I need to defend myself.
Geriatric.
Especially before the new guys that are on here, we think, what the hell is this guy on about? Look, I'll be honest, before the start of this season, I didn't think Van Dijk was able to get to the level that he is right now. So I was actually speaking about how well Saliba was last year. Because look, let's not beat around the bush as him. Saliba was unbelievable last season. For his first proper season, he was really unbelievable. So then I saw where Asim, okay, I can accept that. Look, that's fair. But and another thing was Asim, I saw how good Van Dijk was last season. There was times where he
had no midfield in front of him, China.
Okay, fair play. I understand that now. And I apologize. It's a mistake of mine. I accept it.
Let me apologize.
My reasons. But can I just say about Van Dijk? Honestly, this season, the guy has just been unbelievable. And I think look, there's always a stat for Van Dijk, and the Van Dijk stat is if he's been dribbled past. I've never ever seen a defender ever has seen a stat where if somebody's actually gone past him. He had the same stat in 2018 to 2020.
It was Nicolas Pepe of all people, Arsenal player.
Exactly.
He went past him, but he still won the ball back, Van Dijk. Yeah. So I don't know if that's still like.
Yeah, and that stat is back, Avi. That stat is back this season. He has not been dribbled past this season. So fair play to Van Dijk because he's just been he's been unbelievable. And Avi, you mentioned it on the last show.
If Virgil stays like this, as consistent as he's being, Asim, we win the league.
Angie.
Can we give a shout out to Matip as well?
Yes, Avi.
Sorry?
Can I give a personal shout out to Joel Matip? Because honestly, I genuinely thought, because we're talking about the defense, Joel Matip was finished. I genuinely believe that because what I saw from him last season, and for him to come in big games, and I know he scored that own goal against Spurs, but to come back and put in the performances that he put in, hats off to the guy because the guy's been sensational. And look, he's in his final year of his contract. He's come in and and he's played really, really well. And Kanate, I know he's look. And that's a question. Does Kanate start against Man City? Because I genuinely don't know. I won't be surprised if he goes with Matip.
I don't think he will go with Kanate, especially if he's been out for like 2 weeks. He won't start against City.
I think Gomez starts. Not Gomez. What's his name? Gomez might start left back, but I think he might go with
Matip will go down when his time is set and done. And I hope we do give him an extension. I tell you why. He's a character outside of the pitch. You can tell that the players love him, absolutely adore him. His mannerisms, his little expressions that he makes. Matip will go down that legendary path as same as Gini Wijnaldum. When we actually talk about legends, we'll talk about the Manes, Bobbies, Salahs, but it will be Alissons. It will be players like Matip and Gini that we'll mention afterwards, but we'll appreciate them more and talk about them more and then we do with Salah. Because Gini, we hardly ever speak about him, but what a player he was. Matip's the same. Matip has, again, he's had a redemption season. Him and Gomez both, because last season they both stunk up the joint. And I'm a big believer of Joe Gomez, and I thought, if this summer it's looking close for us to selling him. But Matip and Gomez, they've come back well. Sorry, Asim.
If Matip leaves, lads, who's going to carry the ball 80 yards? Who's going to run? When he gets the ball and he goes off
the one. but listen, it works. He never hardly ever gives the ball out. He will bring out the ball very well and he'll play that pass. We saw that goal against Leeds last season.
Yeah.
Or the season before, when he made that run pass to Salah sets him up and he scores. He is good when he comes out with the ball. Very underrated.
No, he is. But I think what, Sam, I think we're going to finish on this. I wanted you to give me your 3 best player of the seasons, let's say, in terms of where you
just Liverpool in the Premier League.
Give us Premier League. Give me both. You know what? Let's do both quickly. I know Avi's got to go on. I know he's at work, but let's do a quick one. Yeah, player of the season in terms 3 player of the season so far in the Premier League.
I'll go first with my Liverpool ones. I'll go with the crown in the Anfield jewel, Mohamed Salah.
1 or 3.
1.
That's his first one. That's his first one.
Van Dijk.
So my first. Okay, you're going 2. Okay.
2. Third one. Do I go Matip? Do I go Szoboszlai? Even though Darwin. I'll go with the main man. I'll go Darwin.
Avi?
My 3 Liverpool players
Some of the show as well, wasn't it?
I think it's hard to ignore Mohamed Salah. Salah, Jota. Surprise. I think Jota's had a very good season. His link-up play outside of the box now is coming a long way. Jota, Salah, and I think you've got to give
Avi, come on, yeah.
Virgil.
I know.
I change. I take
out. You can't change.
No, why?
Can I just see anyone mentioned right in all the comments? I just want to see you find Diego Jota in anyone's. See, this guy just wants to be different because we've slated him. Slated him for his Jota, wanting to sell Jota. Now he wants to get, you know what, Jota. He's been good.
Yeah, he's staying fit. He's performing. His numbers have been insane. Yes, Wild thing.
You know what? You still take 60 million for him.
Yeah, come on. I
wouldn't right now. I told you I wouldn't right now. If he gives me 40 games this season, there's no way I'm selling him for 70 million. There you go. Your 3 Liverpool players.
Salah without a shadow of a doubt, Van Dijk, and for me, Alisson. Man. For me, they're the
Alisson's a good share.
3
players of the as a whole Premiership without non-Liverpool players. I'll go first with mine, and we'll go around the table. My first one is James Maddison. Fantastic player.
I'd agree with that.
Before his injury, probably player of the season. He's clicked with Spurs. There's probably another Spurs player that I wanted to pick, and I probably will pick him. My second one, I'll just go with my 3. James Maddison is definitely 1. Yves Bissouma is definitely number 2. Fantastic. When the knives were out for him and said they should sell him, he's come under. He's playing well again, staying fit again. 3 is probably Douglas
Come
Luiz.
on, for God's sake.
Douglas Luiz been brilliant for Villa this season in the 6.
There's been better players at Villa. Musa Diaby.
Diaby.
He's Musa Diaby's been in and out. Diaby's been in and out. Douglas Luiz has put some serious numbers up.
Watkins has been better though.
Yeah, Watkins, man. You've got to give a bit of credit to Watkins.
Luiz is one that I like.
I go for Declan Rice for Arsenal.
Put that. He's been what the fuck's he done in the big games?
Oh, come on, man.
Avi, you can't go past Declan Rice. If I'm honest with you, the guy's been
He's 100 million. He's 100 million. He's supposed to be good. We're looking for 3 players that we think have exceeded their expectations. I picked out 3: Maddison, Bissouma.
This is not about exceeding expectations. This is not about exceeding expectations.
So who's second? Rodri. You're gonna say Rodri and Rice?
No, I'm not gonna say Rodri. I'd probably go for Watkins.
You know what? I'm actually wild thing, man. I think Van der Ven's been an unbelievable signing.
Yeah,
he's been every time I've seen him.
He's absolutely shot.
I know.
He's shot that.
I'm happy about. Don't get me wrong. Atigo's Rice, Rodri, Maddison, which is fair. I can understand.
So who's your 3? No, who's Asim's 3?
Mine
Rice,
was Maddison, Rice,
yeah,
and Watkins.
I went Diaby, Rice, and Maddison.
Diaby's been in and out. He's been injured, man. I can see
when I've seen Diaby play, the guys every time, bar the Liverpool game when he played against us, I thought he was bad because we were that good because we scored early. I think he's been. But you know what? Maddison and Van der Ven are 2 brilliant calls, man. The wild thing, Van der Ven for me.
You can't go with 2 Tottenham. If they were top of the table, fine.
They've been injured now. They're not top look at them. They got injured. They started losing the games. That tells you something.
Manager of the first quarter of the season.
Manager.
Well, the whole script is saying Angie, isn't it? The whole of Twitter, the whole of the world.
We're not going by script. We're not going via script.
I think you have to give Unai Emery his flowers.
Yeah, to be in there, if they're shouting the top 5 against the big boys, you definitely have to give him. I expected more from De Zerbi, if I'm honest with you, this season, but he hasn't done as well.
I think we have to look closer to home as well, guys. Yeah. I think the job that Klopp has done with a new midfield and to sit with 1 point behind Manchester City, I think our own boss is in with the shout.
So who are we going with? So Asim, you said Unai.
Yeah, I'll have to stick with Unai.
I think I'll probably go with Unai as well.
Yeah.
Go on. You say who?
I'm going with Sean Dyche. They're back in the relegation zone, mate. Down they go. Finally, after 33 years, hope they fucking go down Everton this season. This is in the new stadium as well. Gary, great.
Wolves have beaten Spurs, beaten City as well. Good shout.
I tell you about him. I tell you a nice story about him. Gary O'Neill. He was fantastic, good little player as well for Portsmouth and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But he came into Liverpool under 18s.
It was a shit version of Ward Prowse.
Coached. Yeah, probably right there. Coached his way up, right? Liverpool under 18s goes to Bournemouth, keeps them up last season. They get rid of him because they wanted to go another angle, get a Spanish Mandarin. Gone to Wolves, where he's had no money. What's that idiot's name? That Julian Lopetegui, who left, however you pronounce his name. He's come in. He's come in without spending any money. I think they let go of some players as well, Ruben Neves and stuff. He's got them playing well. 12th, they were unlucky against United away from home, where they could have won that game. Yeah, he got robbed there. Very well against us. Sets his stall up. But Gary O'Neill is probably the shout from Dazzle. Probably a great shout. Unai Emery or Gary O'Neill, if you're being serious. Yeah, great shout.
No, that's fair. Hi guys, I think to be fair, Asim, we're done, man. I think that's the first.
Are we gonna give us a
9 out of 10 performance today? Come on, I know everybody enjoyed my hosting skills.
We're giving you live applause.
And you know what? I swear to God, I'm not here just to, you know me, Gina, I would never kiss your ass, but you know what? You were pretty natural. Oh, it was a good flow to it. I really enjoyed it.
That's fair, man. That's fair. But anyway, guys, Asim, now
it was so good. It was so good that you're hosting back on Sunday as well. So prepare yourself in 48 hours. In less than 48 hours, Gene will be back on hosting duty, where we will be doing probably a quick 1 hour show where we will be discussing the team of the season so far. And we will be doing Bharat India with the World Cup a third time, celebrations, non-cocktail champagnes will be flowing in the Abbey household, and we will have my India flag out. So yes, boys. Mubarak all round. They will be doing my Mubarak live on show as well.
But Asim, before you go, I always give you crap about asking people to like and subscribe. I didn't do it once. You just forget, man. You just forget to ask.
You do.
By
Yeah,
the way,
I think we need to pat ourselves on the back because it's such a good flow to the chat. We try to get sort of as many comments up on screen as well. I think sometimes we do forget, but Sunday, Avi, it's all about Glenn Maxwell going crazy for about an hour and a half. If we get an hour and a half from Glenn Maxwell,
what do you mean we? Pakistani up.
Huh?
Listen, you ain't no Aussie, and you can't even speak as an Aussie. Okay,
if India let Pakistani
listen. Have you guys traveled back? Have you guys gone back to Islamabad, Peshawar, Rawalpindi? Have you gone back to your states?
Already, man.
Have the planes flown back? Is it bye-bye time? Bye-bye.
Hey, they didn't even give us a plane. They let us walk it home, man. They never even let any fans come into the boarding World Cup.
Listen, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli.
Avi, whether it's football World Cup, any type of World Cup, it's the sort of, the nations being united, the colours, Australia, South Africa, Pakistan in the crowd. It's like a glorified IPL, this World Cup. Honestly,
it is.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Obviously, maybe because of the events around the world and stuff, but I've not really enjoyed this World Cup at all. I'll be honest with you. Not because of just Pakistan.
You fucking ain't enjoyed it, you bastard, because India in the final. That's why you haven't enjoyed it. What was there to enjoy? You haven't beat India yet in any World Cup in 50 overs, right? What's there to enjoy for you? Tell me.
Anyway, boys, you know what? Let's just finish the show. But guys, first and foremost, thank you very much for joining us. As Asim mentioned, we'll be back on Sunday, 9 p.m. sharp. So join us then. Take care and have a good one.
For the post-match cricket show. Take care. Bye-bye.